The first video I made, I tried to do a fun intro with some music, and it ended up being my most popular video, and I wanted to monetize it, but the music, it didn't let me, so we're gonna make do with this intro. Monetize my video. Monetize my video. Okay, so we're at my old elementary school, middle school, whatever you want to call it, and we're reviewing my Wolverine 1,000-mile boots. And the first question people always ask are, Mike, are these tough boots? Can they stand up to anything? And it's like, yeah, they pretty much are. Definitely tougher than me during the 8 years that I got bullied here, so that's good. And they can definitely stand up more than I could to Maverick. So we're off to a good start. Okay, so about 4 years ago, I was in the market for either a pair of Red Wings or a pair of Wolverines. I didn't know if I wanted the Iron Rangers or the 1,000 miles, and I really couldn't decide, but then Wolverine ended up having a contest where you could win a pair of boots for free, so I just did that, and I won the contest, and I got this pair of boots for free. So it worked out well, because I was in college and I couldn't really afford the boots anyways, but here they are. First off, really important, these boots are 4 years old, but they're not really 4 years old. I don't wear them too much. I definitely wore them enough to get somewhere and give a review and stuff like that, but these aren't daily things, or I don't walk, 15,000 steps a day or work a physical job in them or anything like that. I wear them enough though to kind of, get a gist. Also, another thing I'm probably gonna forget is that these are not the laces the boots come with. You probably know that, but these are just leather laces that I got from a 5 and 10. Wolverine 1,000-mile boots, I feel like, are kind of the top contenders for Iron Rangers in terms of like popular start-off entry into Goodyear welted boots, and for good reason. They're really nice boots and they don't break the bank. Quick change of plans. I forgot that I was going on vacation and I didn't have time to finish my review, so we'll just do it here. I'm in Queensbury, New York. Okay, so apologies in advance. It's very windy in New York, so I'm bringing the camera as close to me as I can. Basically, I thought I finished the video back when I was on Cape, but then I was like, I think there's some stuff I forgot. So you'll only see New York Mike if New York Mike has to come out, if I forget something. So anyways, review time. Usually the most important question is, what's the sizing like? How do these fit? So on and so forth. And I watched a lot of other reviews. I read a lot of reviews, and people keep saying size up with these. I didn't size up. I went true to size for boots. So usually in a boot, I'm an 8. A lot of times in Stan Smiths or, regular shoes, I'll be a 9. But usually an 8 in boots, and I got an 8 in the, well, let me check actually. Yeah, I got an 8 in these, 8D. I have pretty slim feet, but these are fine. Especially with wool socks, I probably could have gotten an 8.5, but when I wear like thin cotton socks, I'm fine. Like I said, wool socks that are pretty thick, 8.5 would probably be more comfortable, and I wouldn't get it. You know what's like a boot's a little too tight and it makes your foot feel like colder because it's cutting off the oxygen? That's kind of where they're at when I go true to size, so maybe half a size up. Either way, the best thing to do is try these on in person. Okay, so right off the bat, these boots have been great for me. Like I said, I've had them for 4 years. I've worn them sporadically, nothing really crazy. The most I've worn them was during, I went to Sundance Film Festival, and I wore these, I think, for a week straight, through snow, through rain. It was soaking wet, it was slushy. Really not the best condition to be wearing Wolverine 1,000 miles, a leather-soled boot, but that's what I did at the time because I was really excited and I thought it was a perfect time to wear them. But you can see this is Horween chromexcel leather, so you can see it's pull-up, which is really cool. It's really easy to rub out some scratches and kind of buff them out, which is also really nice. And these boots have been great. The most notable scratch that you may see is this kind of raised and puffy looking scratch on the left foot. And that's actually because I went to a ball with my girlfriend, whose name is Taylor. Maybe I'll just start calling her Taylor, unless I break up with her, then I'll have to switch her name. But the raised scratch that you see is because I went to a ball with Taylor and we were dancing, and I forgot to wear dress shoes, but I had these in my car, so I threw on my 1,000 miles and danced the night away, and a woman stepped on my foot with a stiletto heel, and I don't know what would have happened if I didn't have these on, but it was a pretty dangerous night. Now, what's really cool about chromexcel leather is it's kind of famous from the Horween company, which has been in the US for 100-something years. I'll put down the exact number there, but chromexcel leather is kind of their flagship leather. I believe, actually, and I'll just delete this if it's wrong, but I think it was first used on World War II tanks. World War II or World War I. I'm not positive. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I was right. It was in tanks. I couldn't find if it was World War I or World War II. I'm assuming possibly both. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, or put it down in the comments actually, if it's World War I, if it's World War II, if you definitely know, and I'll pin it so that way everyone can see. But used on those tanks, so a lot of people are like, well, will it hold up? Yeah, it's gonna hold up. It may not stay this like gorgeous, sheeny, beautiful, waxy look forever, which you can do with conditioning and polishing and stuff like that, but it is gonna stand up. Another comment on this is Horween leather and it's chromexcel, but you can definitely buy different grades of leather, and it appears that These Wolverine boots are not the highest. They're not like Viberg boots, which, you know, makes sense. Viberg boots are like $1,000 and Wolverines are $320, $350 around there. So it makes sense they wouldn't get the highest grade leather, but they also don't get the lowest. It's kind of middle of the road, and that's where you see like loose grain creasing and sometimes a lot of these weird creases. Stride-wise, actually, you see his boots, they have some really weird creasing on the sides. Those almost look like seconds to me, but you know, I'm not really quite sure. Let me know, again, comment below if yours came out like that. I don't know why, I just have a feeling people are gonna say, oh shit, Mike doesn't know how to tie his boots, but you know, that's how it goes. The top layer of the leather will wear off, and if you really hate that, you should look into other types of leathers, but still, a really cool leather with a lot of history. It's treated like 89 times over 28 working days at Horween. It's waxed and oiled and impregnated with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of baby boots in here, and Horween is also a family-owned company, so, you know, it's awesome. Also, these boots are made in the US, so really everything stays in the US from the leather to the actual construction of the boots. Also, really quick, I'm staying in an Airbnb, and the woman there had a zucchini in her fridge, and it was like this thick, like way bigger than someone's arm. And I opened the fridge and I was like, wow, this is the biggest zucchini I've ever seen. And she said, yep, I know, end of summer, and walked away. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's well above average. I've never heard that before personally. I don't have any experience with things being well above average, but that's, for a while I had a shot leather jacket in Horween chromexcel leather, and to me it really gives off this like shiny clay type vibe, which I sold that jacket and I hate myself for it because it was really nice. But that's kind of the characteristic of the leather, at least to me, which I don't mind it at all. I don't really like it when they look really old and clayey. Like I said before too, the bottom is leather, which really isn't the best thing to me. I kind of like rubber, Vibram soles or something like that so I don't slip. I wore these in college all the time, and whenever there was like a smooth linoleum floor or tiled floor, I would just run as fast as I could and then just slide across the hall with them, so there's really no traction at all. I've been thinking about having a cobbler glue Vibram soles or something equivalent to that. Also, I really do like tready looking boots and shoes. I feel like it adds like a certain layer of gruffness to it, so I'll probably do that. Plus, then I'll probably wear these more often. This is really thick and tough leather. I don't really think there's a problem of it getting worn out anytime soon. I would just like the added security of the rubber. Also, you can see if you look at the bottom, there's pits in the leather where I stepped on like gravel or stuff like that. You have to be really careful when you're walking through gravel and you go inside, because a lot of the times there'll be little rocks actually stuck in the leather and it can scratch people's floors and stuff like that. So all in all, I would be a lot happier if there was something on the bottom of these. I'm sure not everyone agrees with me, but that would make me happy. The heel, however, is stacked leather and then rubber, so when I was sliding across the hall at school, I would kind of go back on my heels to break it, which is honestly a big adjustment for me because I'm used to wearing Heelys and the brakes actually are in the front on those. Little fun fact for you, I actually used to play on that playground all the time, but it used to be made out of wood, and there was this really tall sled, and my friend and I were on it, and he had a Batman cape on, so I was pretending I was Joker, and I put the cape over his head, and then I pushed him off, and I thought he would fall on his back, but he ended up turning around and falling on his front, and then when he looked up at me crying, his face was covered in blood, and I was like, oh my god. And then they redid the entire playground. That's a true story. The midsole of these boots is actually cork, and if you remember my Birkenstock video that I did last week that you can watch here, cork is really cool because it shapes to your foot over time, which means that these boots are really comfortable and the break-in process isn't that crazy. Not just because it's cork, but you know, just kind of the construction of the boot in general. There is certainly a break-in process, but once they are broken in, they are comfortable. Like I said, I've had them for 4 years, so it was a long time ago. I got the blisters and everything like that, but now these are really comfortable. There's triple stitching along the vamp here, which is good, some added durability, and the stitching generally is pretty good. There are some loose areas or some areas that don't seem like they're stitched down, which I have heard that there's some quality control issues with Wolverine, but I think generally for the most part the quality control is more of an aesthetic thing and not a functionality thing, although feel free to comment anything that goes against that. But you know, for the most part, everything on my boots that's an issue, like this loose thread, the loose grain creasing here, it's visual and it's not the prettiest thing, but again, these are entry-level Goodyear welted boots, and while they are expensive boots and I expect really good quality, I don't expect them to be, you know, the same as Viberg boots or anything like that, which I have a lot higher standards for. And again, I have high standards for these boots, but you know, after 4 years, you're gonna see things start to look a little different than when you first got them. And when I first got these, they were perfect. There was really nothing that I noticed at all. So these boots were really kind of my first introduction into like high quality leather boots, or just high quality kind of outerwear, menswear, whatever stuff in general. And I remember when I first got these, I was just really surprised by the weight and the feel of them, because when you first get them, they feel like a really stiff oiled leather glove. And I'm saying that not for people that, you know, have 20 pairs of boots or have boots all the time or have had these or anything like that. I'm saying it for the person that first gets these. So there's a good amount of weight to them. There's a good amount of heft. Like I said, the leather is 2 millimeters thick. These aren't Clark Desert boots or anything like that. They are a little bit more robust, although these are definitely not modern work boots. There's obviously a lot more innovation in modern work boots that would serve you better if you were really banging around in these boots. These are boots I kind of feel like a professor would wear, or like someone like me who works at a desk job. I'll go walking with these in the woods and stuff like that and not mind it, but you know, if I was working in construction or something like that, I would never wear these. Definitely look at these as kind of dressy, middle of the road type boots. There's no flourishes or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward, so these are on the dressier side of basic boots too. If you look at Iron Rangers, they're a little more detailed and stuff like that, which makes them a bit more casual. Also, like I said, these boots are Goodyear welted, which means, you know, you wear them long enough, the soles start to wear out, you can get them resoled and breathe new life into them. The uppers are gonna last you a really long time. They may not be super pretty, but it's gonna take a really long time before you're punching through them or anything like that. And sorry, this is probably gonna be an abrupt kind of end to the video, but what I really wanna kind of summarize is that I really like the Wolverine 1000 miles. I think they look really good with black jeans, kind of wide, kind of narrow. Mine are narrow right now, but wider ones too. You know, leather laces and stuff like that. They're just a classic boot. I would really love if there was rubber on the bottom so that way they had a little bit more traction and durability, but they don't. But I kind of want to pose this question to the general audience watching this, but what makes Wolverine 1000 miles have a cult following? Because there's Red Wing Iron Rangers, which oftentimes come in a little cheaper, and to me it personally seems like they have a little better quality leather, and that could be just because they have their own tannery, so you know, they kind of cut down the initial cost there and they can get better leather. Wolverine definitely takes the cake there for, you know, the classic plain simple style. Maybe the Iron Rangers kind of took the workwear style and they became the cult following, and then Wolverine 1000 miles kind of took the, these are more dressy but still a work boot type feel, and that's why, you know, they were the initial two, so they got big and they split really fast. Then we have companies like Thursday Boots, I forget what they're called specifically, but they kind of really speak to the modern audience where most people aren't going to use these leather boots for work boots, so Thursday slims them down. They have nice leather. This is going off Stridewise's review actually, but they slim them down, they have nice leather, and it may seem like to a lot of people that's a better deal. I think those boots come in at $195, so you know, you'll save a good amount of money getting those too, but obviously Thursday kind of misses the mark in terms of heritage. They're a new brand, so they're trendy. They don't have that heritage look to them as much. They're modernized. So what's the appeal for you personally of Wolverine 1000 mile boots? I, again, really like them. I think they're classic and they go with basically anything, and it's really cool to buy into the history of a company as long as they sustain their quality product as they, you know, move into modern times, which I think Wolverine does. So I don't know. I'd love to hear what you think. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. Most videos I don't do like this. They're a little less hectic, but I'm trying to get a video out every week and I will do whatever it takes to do that. So my girlfriend's in an Airbnb by herself with a giant zucchini, and I don't want her to... Never mind. Never mind, it doesn't... I just don't want her to leave me for someone else. Anyways, that's about it. Sorry I was all over the place today. Maybe it was fun, who knows? Maybe I'll go to New York more often. I may actually... Yeah, anyways, talk to you all soon. Bye.